Hey there, it's February 11th, 2018 here at Surfview Gardens, and today we have a little project. I was mentioning that Kevin, the oyster guy, the fun guy from Uptown Farmers Market at Bethany and Central every Saturday, he gave me a bunch of spent grow bags. So you've seen in another video that I put a couple elm oyster bags out in the garden against the wall. And then today what we're going to do is we're going to create 2 grow bags. And I want to go over with you what the process is before we start. Okay? Alright, so we're going to create the grow bags. We're going to pasteurize the sawdust pellets. And we're going to break up the spent elm oyster grow bags. We've got 2 of them. Then we're going to mix them. Then we're going to bag them in breathable new grow bags, empty ones. Then we're going to put them in a lasagna aluminum pans in the grow room. And once again, this is Surfview Gardens, February 11th, 2018. And so let's start the project. First thing we're doing is we're getting some water going, and right now it's just starting. I don't want to overwhelm it, so it's just on half, and it'll come in a little while. So we'll see how that goes. All right, so now we've got the my Home Depot pail. These are the premium wood pellets, hardwood pellets made by Flame Genie. They were, like I mentioned, they were pretty darn cheap. They were like $7 for 20 pounds. And as we saw in another video, it's really simple to, doesn't take much. So we're going to pour some of these in that pail there. Maybe about a third, 25 to 30%. Let's take a look at these. So that's what the pellets look like. So I'll pour those in there, and we'll go to the next step. Okay. So we'll get these ready here, but so you can see, we'll put them out in the light. It's not much. I don't think we put maybe 15-20%, but those are really going to expand. So we'll just keep these ready for when the hot water's done. That's it for now. Okay, you know how much I like to use this gun, my temperature gun here. So let's take a look and see what the water is. Right now, I'm seeing 177. There you go. That's close enough. We'll turn that baby off. And we'll bring that outside. And I've got the door already open, so I will walk more zen-like so that this bobbing camera on my head. See if we can close the door with that back foot. Not quite. So here we have the bucket with its and we'll put that in there. pretty cool how quickly it expands. It's just blowing up. But we'll cover it and we'll get some more water going. So we'll see that in a little bit. Okay, so here we are again. And this is for batch number 2, 182. So we got a little bit of a variation here. So what we're going to do, here's the water. Before I put that in there with the sawdust, I'm going to pasteurize the tool that I'm going to use to mix up the spawn. So right now it's cooking a little bit. Pasteurizing the tool. All right. That should do it. So let's add the water. See what happened here? See, can you see that? Yeah. It's filling up. Okay, so we'll cover that up and let that cook for a little while. And then we'll just leave that on there. Bring that back in the house. And I'll show you what we're doing here. These 2 spent bags here, I'm going to cut up. And I'm going to cut up and put it, once I move the sawdust into a tub to cool it off, I'm going to put these in the bucket, and one by one, and then chop it up and then put it in with the cooled off sawdust powder. So we get a little bit of a variation on this one. Okay, so I put in both hot waters already, and it's still cooking, doing its thing. And I've also sterilized, pasteurized this spawn breaker upper. So in a little bit we'll come back in and break up some spawn after I put out the sawdust for cooling. But we're going to leave that in the hot water for a little bit. Okay, so we're at the next step. It's time now we've let that soak for long enough, and we're going to put all of this in here. I got a hummingbird that's dive bombing me. So the idea here is to let that thing cool, and the humidity will be evaporating some of the moisture content. But it seems like as much hot water as I put in there, it'll absorb just about all of it. So the idea is to have those spawn bags moist. All right. So we'll let that cool, and then we'll get our X-Acto knife. And we'll do one spawn bag at a time. see what you can see here. Now this is one that I had soaked in the water. You might remember that. I'll have to save that for now. Okay. And we'll take this pasteurized device. That actually works pretty well, guys. Look at that hula hoe. We use that here in Arizona to get weeds out of the yard. It goes underneath the roots of the weed and does a really good job. It's a real popular tool in the Southwest. So we're doing our best to, and that looks like sawdust to me. That other one that we were looking at the other day that we put out in the yard, that looked like wheat berries. Now the dark area looks like vermiculite. I don't know if you have much experience with that. But you see it's elm. There we go. All that stuff flying around. All right. Now this has wheat berries in it. Do you notice the difference? It's got texture to it, like little wheat berries, which is interesting. They both said elm on it, so I guess the guy had grown some in sawdust and some in wheatberry. We're going to test the heat. 87, 79, that's pretty normal. 92, 90, 89. All right, that's good enough for mixing. So we are going to get this and put it right there. And we're going to get the broken up spent spawn. And we're going to take the hula hoe and break it up more. I think we're all done with that. All right, here we are. We're in the process of bagging stuff up, and we have some of the necessary equipment. And I think I'm going to put on some gloves just to keep the whole thing very sterile. These are, I think, extra large. I believe I got them at Walgreens. But they seem to fit pretty well. And I think I've got my angle on my head cam working pretty well. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to bag these babies up. And I've got a sanitized container here. Everything is antiseptic. And from Kevin at Uptown Plaza, I got some of these Micron bags. So we're pretty official here. And we'll fill up as many as we have. I bought 5 bags from him, since I don't do this professionally. But the basic idea, and I've seen this done on YouTube. This is why I'm cleaning my hands. But they basically, I think we'll just put it there. And you can see there's a lot of mycelium bits as we go. But this is a good way to extend the life of it. I don't know how much we want to put in there. I got a few bags, but I guess there's no reason to not. We got to leave room for it to breathe. That's about right. And then they would push it down. And tuck it in. And I'm using some very official items. Oh, there they are. They're known as clothespins. So we will fold it as officially as possible. And that white Micron badge, that will give it room to breathe. So we don't really want to block that. All right. And then, of course, you want to do what all the good growers do. Not that I'm a good grower, but we want to write the date on it. So, Elm 2/11, and I'm going to put the date. A lot of them don't, but or the year. There we go. So you get there. And I wanted to show you this one cool thing. Is that not that you don't really necessarily need these things, but over at the 99-cent store, let me show you the top one. The lasagna pans. They're a little higher than the meatloaf cake pans, but it's pretty good size. And you got 2 for 99 cents, and it's made in the United States. So we're going to put that on there and give it its own little happy home over here. And we'll go ahead and do the other ones. But doesn't that look cool? Mr. Elm. I don't know if you can see that. There you go. And we'll see how it goes. Hopefully that will all be able to. And so you get the idea. We're going to do the rest of these and we'll check back with you. All right. I don't know if you can see my work for today, but we did it. We got the 5 different bags, and I'll get better at the future of it. I got a little more in the earlier ones, but I realized that if I didn't start making them less, I'd have just an incredibly small partial bag. So it looks as if we've got 5 of them here, and of course they all say Elm. I dated them, and then there you know the 2 micron. So that allows it to breathe. You can already see the moisture that was captured in the sawdust is already evaporating in the bag, and these are the last ones, so they're just happening. But I'm going to get some more. I'll get some more clothespins and do a better job closing it up. But for now, that's about the best I can do. So what do you think? That's 5 of them. And then look at all these other ones I still have to process. But I finished all the elm. I was able to do the elm in the yard with the crappy elm bags. And then with the better elm bags, I was able to add some more sawdust, some pasteurized sawdust to it. And hopefully those will take without a hitch. And we'll see what happens. And then it's coming soon. I'm going to do a lion's mane one. I might make a lion's mane tower. I haven't ever seen anybody do that yet. You see potato towers where they take, you know, kind of like a cattle pen or some small amount of wire fence and make a circle and dump a bunch of wood chips in it. But what I'd like to do is to take some PVC pipe that already has the holes made and add a bunch of sawdust with the lion's mane. I got a couple of bags of lion's mane, so we can make a lion's mane tower and stick that in the yard. I think that'll be kind of fun. So look for that in a future video. So if you like what you saw or see, and do a thumbs up and share it with a friend and tell people about the site, okay? Thank you.